Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome into the Sunday morning edition of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault here on BettingPros.com, on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts, and we're always being brought to you by BetMGM. All right, we had a fun night last night on the Discord channel. If you guys haven't gotten in, man, BettingPros.com/chat is the link to get into the Discord channel. I cannot stress this enough about watching and being in different channels and watching different wagers and bets. It was so fun. I can't tell if it was the alcohol, my family being here, the fights, or just the combination of everything plus a crowd made it so memorable, but that was incredible. That was just absolutely so much fun. And today felt really normal. We had a couple of friends of ours come over with their two kids and hang out outside in our backyard. We've got this like spool thing. It's not a pool or a spa. It's kind of like a spool thing in our backyard. So they came over. The kids were playing all day, and it was a very normal day. That was the strangest thing about it. It felt very, very 2019-ish. And I went 1-0 on a one-unit bet. That was my first one-unit bet since COVID. And we got Shevchenko and Usman, that 191. I know you're only getting back, on a $100 bet, you're only getting back about $52. But, hey, it cashed, right? Usman, what a knockout, man. That was beautiful. Yeah, I got it wrong with him by decision. I knew that bet was dead in the first round because the way he was throwing – just like Valentina, the same exact thing. Shevchenko and Usman both took those fights, and they went into their fights with something to prove. And I probably should have known that, but you never really know if what the fighters are saying leading into a fight is actually what they're going to do. But Shevchenko said, my wrestling is much better than people think. She put Jessica Andrade in a crucifix position and then punched her lights out. Do you guys know how crazy that is? That she was able to flatten her out like that on the octagon, on the mat, and then pound her into submission to get the KO? I mean, they meant to do that. That was on purpose to do that. And then Usman, I mean, he wanted to prove a point that, and look, I probably shouldn't have bet inside the distance. I thought he would have a similar attack, but he wanted to prove to the world. And that's one hell of a mosquito bite, Jorge Masvidal, because you folded the same way we watched the leg fold of Chris Weidman, which we hope to goodness that guy's going to be okay. But that was 5 rounds where every fight was memorable. Every fight. We lost on our first fight, unfortunately, because of a dude who Jimmy Crute had his knee get collapsed by Anthony Smith, and that nerve that runs down the back of your knee, you get that kick and you can't walk. And he couldn't walk. So win for Smith, a loss for us, but that's fighting, right? You're going to take that. It happens. And then as long as Shevchenko got that KO, that was the most important thing. If she had won that by submission, the night would have been totally different. But she won that by knockout, so that was big. That was a plus 225 hit. That was beautiful. And then you guys are giving me credit for calling the Rose Namajunas knockout. All I said was the books need one belt to be exchanged. The books, everybody and their brother had the 3-leg parlay of the and still parlay, right? That everyone was doing that. The books were going to get one of those title belts to be changing hands, and I said it was going to be Rose, all right? So, yeah, did I call it last night? Kinda. Did I fade that? Sure. I sprinkled a little bit on KO for Wei Li. It was plus 225. I told you, the fight against her and Joanna is the best women's fight I've ever seen in person. And so I thought she would go to work, and she didn't. And Rose with an incredible head kick. Boom. Lights out. I mean, 5 fights. Sometimes we don't get our money's worth. We got our money's worth with the pay-per-view for UFC 261. That was just an awesome, awesome night. Usman just, whew. So we would have been up nearly a whole unit if it wasn't for the stupid prop bets. 0-2 on the prop bets. Somehow Jokic, and this is always the danger, right? When you bet on somebody against a bad team that they get pulled out, and he needed over 25.5, and he finished with 24 points. And then we played the assist again because that hit for us the last time we played for D'Angelo Russell assists, and that didn't hit either. So 0-2 on the props, so that knocked it down. Still a winning night, but not really what we want. But still, even with that stated, a huge night. Just an absolutely incredible, fun, huge night. I had a bunch of personal bets that cashed tonight that were really nice. So just all in all, a winning day on the pod, a winning day for UFC 261. We get the 1-unit bet because a crowd's there. You can bet 1 full unit. That's awesome. Let's get more full houses. Let's get more crowd noises because it comes back. You saw it. We all saw it. The building felt different. Everything was different. The walkouts were different. Just the introductions were different, and everything was fun again. Everything was so, and I really hope everybody was safe. I really do. And I'm waiting to hear back from people that were in the crowd that I know, that were in the crowd that I said, hey, go there, come back, tell me what it was like. Tell me how safe you felt. Tell me where you were, masks or what. I want to know. And so we'll see. And I'll talk about it on my radio show, but I love Kamaru Usman. I love Valentina Shevchenko, and I was very happy to back them with a 2-leg parlay, which all of a sudden I'm 2-0 on parlays the last 2 days. I'm kidding. I'm not going to be betting parlays. I know better than doing that, but that's nice when you go 2-0. You get a plus 600 and then a 1-unit parlay to hit on back-to-back days. It's not bad, right? You're kind of seeing the board right. But I'm not going to take the Rose. I mean, people are tweeting, great call, Matt. Look, I'm not going to take the call on Rose. I just told you I was skipping that fight because there was a good chance that Rose was winning that fight, and there was a skunk there. Something smelled with that fight that was scaring me. I know a bunch of you guys took Rose by knockout. That was plus 680. It's a beautiful cash. Congratulations. Really happy for you guys to go ahead and do that. I didn't do that. I went the other way. I took Wei Li by Zhang by knockout over Rose, and that did not happen. But I knew enough to stay away from the parlay that everyone bet. That 3-legger that I saw, like literally every single person that I follow, that I listened to, that I interviewed on my radio show, everyone was on that knockout. The 3 and still fights to come out. Whenever that happens, there's always one, right? Just gotta find the one. And we found that one. I was able to find that one, which was to avoid that loss for Wei Li and the new champion of that division. Rose Namajunas becomes the first fighter to ever get her belt back in that division, by the way, which is pretty interesting. All right, so I'm gonna try something today. It's Sunday. So I'm going to do 2 baseball props today. I'm going to try to get involved with baseball props. I'm going to look at the prop bet cheat sheet, which you can go and check it out on bettingpros.com/MLB props. And I'm going to talk to Dan Harris in the morning. I thought Dan's in New York, though, so I might not be able to. But the ad's not going to be NBA today. Going 0-2, we're going to pump the brakes on the NBA. We're going to go into Major League Baseball props today. A couple of them going for today. See how we'll do. We're 0-1 so far on that, but we bet under 4.5 and done for the Mariners, struck out 5. So, okay, we were close, but we'll come in with Major League Baseball props. So that will be a half a unit. And I've got 4 plays going today here. I've got 1 baseball, 2 in the NBA, and 1 in hockey. All right, so let's start with the NBA because I got 2 bets in the NBA to talk about. All right, Golden State. Let's start with the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets are getting Kevin Durant back tonight. Okay, the thigh contusion that he suffered in the loss against Miami on Sunday, he should be back here. So you're going to have Kyrie Irving and you're going to have Kevin Durant playing today for the Brooklyn Nets. They are laying 2.5 points at home against the Phoenix Suns, and I know everyone loves betting on the Phoenix Suns. They're all Phoenix Suns crazy. Phoenix Suns. Here's the thing about where we are right now. At some point, this Brooklyn Nets team needs to start to really perform, and they need to turn it on. And I think this is one of the games where they'll start to do it because they're going to play a team that has a lot of heat and a lot of excitement. And I know you're most likely going to see some type of minutes restrictions on Kevin Durant, but when he came back the last time, he was nearly perfect from the field. He was incredible. And the Nets just beat the Celtics in their last game, 109-104 at home. And this game's on ESPN. It's a nationally televised game. You got the Suns coming in with Chris Paul and all this now MVP talk coming up here. I'm just going to take Kyrie and Kevin Durant to put together a really tough performance. They're already 40-20, so it's not like this Brooklyn team is bad by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm just going to look at this game and say, okay, which team is better? which team is more experienced, and Brooklyn beat these two teams on the road, or beat when these two teams met before, 128, 124, when they played earlier. And I think we're going to see a similar. I know it was Harden and different people were but this is the same type of setup, though, same team in a way. I'm going -2.5, Brooklyn over the Phoenix Suns. We're going to lay the 2.5 points with Kevin Durant coming back. I'm taking Brooklyn to beat the Phoenix Suns. And everyone's darling in the betting world, the Phoenix Suns, who I think will come back down to earth a little bit as the year progresses. The books are catching up here with Phoenix. One over to play. And let's talk about the Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento Kings. I have been on these Golden State unders for the last 2 games, and they have cashed. So far in the year, and the total is 229. So far, Golden State is 24-36 to the over. Sacramento is 33-26 to the over. One of the best teams in the NBA to the over. When these two teams played previously on the road back in late March, Sacramento won the game 141-119, and the game went over. It had the same total, 229, and it went over by 31 points. Now, different time, different players, I get it. But Steph has been cold the last 2 games, both against Washington and Denver, after his ridiculous red-hot streak. And that's why the under came in mostly. The under came in by 13.5 against Denver, 8.5 against Washington. We bet both those unders. That game was at home, by the way, and they won the game 118-97. That game went under more for Denver than more for what Golden State did. They still scored 118 points. This Sacramento Kings team does nothing but score the basketball. And they're taking on their regional rival. It's a big game. I think Steph Curry goes off today. I'm going to be eyeballing. If I don't like any of the baseball props, I'm going to be eyeballing Steph Curry's points props, and I may go over. If we get him below, if it's 28 or so for the Steph Curry player props, I'll probably at least have one play on Steph Curry. Maybe it'll be a personal play, but I think Steph goes off today. I think De'Aaron Fox goes off today, and I think we go over 229 for these two teams here, even though 4 of the last 5 games have gone under for Golden State. 3 of the last 4 have gone over for the Sacramento Kings, and I think this is a big game for both these teams. I think the Warriors probably win the game because the number of 10 scares the hell out of me. Golden State being favored by 10 points against anybody is kind of I don't know. This is one of those moneyline dogs where back in the year we were cashing it consistently. You're moneyline dogs have been doing really well in the NBA, and this is one reason why, because it's plus 350 for Sacramento, and it kind of just reeks. It's this smells a little funny to me. I think you could see a win for Sacramento here. I'm not positive we're going to get a win for the Warriors, but I'm not going to touch the total or the side there. I'm going to go with the total over 229, okay? So Brooklyn -2.5 and Golden State over 229 against Sacramento Kings. One baseball play. Actually, no, let's hold the baseball play to the end. Let's talk hockey. Jeremy Swayman's in net for the Boston Bruins today on the road at the Pittsburgh Penguins. Swayman has played pretty well since making his debut for the Boston Bruins back in early April. He is 5-1 with a 1.65 ERA. Halak hasn't played very well, and he's the one that lost to the Buffalo Sabres. I was going to be on the over in this game. I was going back and forth with some people on the Discord channel, but Pittsburgh's on the second end of a back-to-back. And when I'm looking at Pittsburgh and I'm looking at, how they've played the Bruins, so in this series, it is 4-2. Boston has led this over Pittsburgh. Boston won the last game 7-5, but Pittsburgh won the game before that 4-1. Bruins 2-1, Penguins 4-1, Bruins 4-1, and then Bruins won in a shootout at 3-2. So far, only one of these games have gone over, and that was the last game. So I was going to go over, and then I looked at that, and then I looked at the numbers for Swayman. He's going in net today. Game's on national TV. I don't think this is going to be that high scoring. I could be wrong about this, but I'm going to take the Bruins here to bounce back after that loss to Buffalo, which I'm sure really stings. They were red hot. They had beaten the Islanders. They beat the Capitals. They'd won back-to-back games on the puck line over Buffalo, and then they lost 6-4 to them. Maybe they were due just to lose, but Boston's been playing really, really well. They've owned the the Penguins so far this year, and I like the fact that it's Swayman and not Halak coming in here while Tuukka Rask deals with an injury. I like what the kid's done so far for the Boston Bruins. Minus 105 on both sides of this game. I'm taking the road team. The Bruins are 13-7-3 on the road. The Penguins are really good at home. They've been outstanding at home. 19-3-1 at home, but they're coming off of a back-to-back. I think they're going to be a little tired here. I think the Bruins are going to get one here on Sidney Crosby and the Penguins. I'm going Bruins minus 105 to get a victory. And the final play will be the game of the night on Sunday Night Baseball. It is Dodgers and the Padres. And boy, do we have an incredible pitching matchup. We've got Joe Musgrove against Dustin May. The total is 7.5. It's been ping-ponging around. I've seen it at 7 and 7.5. I just look at this lineup so far for San Diego, and I know they're potent here, but this is what the Padres have scored over the last 6 games. They scored 4 tonight, right? Let me double-check on that because they lost tonight. 5-4. So they scored 4 tonight. They scored 6 the night before. 3-2-0-1. Okay. On the other side, for LA, they scored 5, then 1-2-1-3-2. Okay. So far in this matchup, only one game has been really high scoring. Although today 5-4 would have gone over. Yesterday 7. We had the under 7.5 for the parlay yesterday. It's 6-1. That was that final 5-4 here. But before that, it's been 3-2. 5-2, 2-0, 11-6. Only one really high-scoring matchup. And with these two guys on the hill, with Sunday Night Baseball intact, I would rather play the first 5 under. I will be on a personal play, but I can't give that to you because of where we are right now, unfortunately. Can't find it because that number's not out yet. So for the podcast, for a half a unit, we are going under 7.5 at minus 120. For this to be like a 3-1 type of game between the Dodgers and the Padres here. Just a nail-biter of a baseball game. Maybe it's 3-2 final or 4-2 final, somewhere in that range. But we're going under 7.5, playoff-type atmosphere for these two teams, with the nation all gearing up to watch these two teams play. I'm expecting both pitchers to be outstanding here in this game, and hopefully the bullpen won't get brought out too early. Blake Snell got pulled too early last night. That was Can't go into the bullpen that early against this Dodgers team, and that's what cost San Diego the win last night. But I'm not really sure who wins the game. I think it probably is going to be San Diego to bounce back after that loss last night, but I don't know. San Diego took the first 2 games of the series, and maybe the Dodgers take the last 2 games of the series to even it up on the way out, because it was 2-1 Dodgers, and then now it's even, right? This is going to be their 7th game. It's 3-3 right now, so we'll see if the Dodgers can get a 4-3 victory here. But under 7.5 at minus 120. Okay. 4 plays for you guys. 2 in the NBA, 1 in the NHL, and 1 in baseball. I will have either player props, most likely 2 baseball props as well later in the Discord channel, bettingpros.com/chat to get in there. Again, the plays: Brooklyn minus 2.5, Golden State over 229, Bruins minus 105 on the money line, Dodgers Padres under 7.5 at minus 120. My name is Matt Perrault. Have a great Sunday. Every morning, it's the Daily Juice podcast right here on bettingpros.com, brought to you by BetMGM.